Hello everybody, welcome back to Its Current Year for another quick battle ladder replay today on the Languil map. I am playing the High Elves of Avalon specifically, and I'm up against the Tomb Kings, who will be led by Cetra, the Imperishable. This was a fun battle because it was slightly different list with a focus on obviously the big dragos that the High Elves can take. So we'll go through the Tomb King army just quickly. Little front line of Skeleton Spearmen, obviously just a roadblock and provide sort of a bit of cover for the back line. 2 units of Tomb Guard with halberds on the flanks and 1 actually also in the rear. So obviously a lot of sort of static defense because this is a very missile heavy Tomb King's army, but there are also 2 units of Nehekara Horsemen just for a few mobile threats. 3 units of Skeleton Archers, one of which is the Blessed Legion with their Armor Sundering ability, so have to watch out for them. They obviously have a reasonably good range, but they're also backed up by 2 units of Ushabti with Great Bow, one of which is also the Ushabti of the Gods, which are really powerful, good at clearing infantry, good if you can get some good shots on big monsters as well. So pretty versatile unit in that sense. He has taken a light caster. Obviously with this much missile play, nets are going to be quite effective. So he's got the nets, he's also got Shems Burning Gaze, it looks like, and he has taken Cetra on the Chariot, which is a cool pick. Obviously can run absolute laps through infantry. He's taken none of the magic items, hasn't taken the Blade of Petra, but he's taken the Nero's Incantation just basically for the physical resistance. So he's probably going to concentrate most of his Winds of Magic on his with his light cast, obviously with his nets. There is also, oh no, that's my unit over there in a Vanguard deployment. So for my own force, I have front line of Rangers, obviously great for dealing with skeleton chaff. 2 units of the White Lions, obviously trade really well with Tomb Guard, buzzsaw through Skeleton Spears pretty quick, and just give you a little bit of armor piercing damage in your front line for, they can take on constructs as well if they need to. Unit of Spearmen in the back just to reinforce against rear charges, just in case there are things like Nehekara Horsemen. I have 2 units of Silver Helms with shields here, as well as a unit of Illyrian Reavers on the flank here, and as well, I believe I have another one. Hidden away somewhere. Maybe I put both of them. Yeah, actually, they're both sort of deployed over there, hidden deployment. So we will get the battle started. For my hero core, I have a Mage of Life. I've taken Earthblood and Regrowth. Obviously, the Regrowth really going to be pretty powerful with 2 large single entities. I do have the Moon Dragon, and I've gone a bit cheaper on my Lord choice. I've just taken the Prince on the Star Dragon. So he's basically just taken Stand Your Ground to pop for a bit of leadership and melee defense. No items, kept him as cheap as he possibly can on the Star Dragon. So obviously there's some good plays here for the Star Dragons, particularly considering Cetra has a fire weakness. Both of the dragon, all basically fire, all dragon choices for the High Elves have flaming attack standard, so they're going to be really powerful to potentially sniping him. Do have to watch out for the nets, obviously. But even though Cetra is a bit of a boss, pretty tough himself, the dragons are going to give him plenty to think about. So he doesn't want to get too embroiled in my infantry. So obviously a ton of fire coming in on my infantry to start with, but we're going to keep it pretty tight here. I'm not going to spread out too far across the front line and try and engage all the infantry. I'm basically going to send the Rangers in where I can. I'm going to maybe try and shoot the gap here and get through onto some archers here with my Rangers. We see a Shems Burning Gaze coming down, but you see the early damage here from my on my Rangers and the like from this mass bowfire is massive. But I am working my way around the flanks. I will have some potentially good engagements. Probably could have sent these White Lines in here, but again, I'm just trying to keep everything pretty high and tight. Obviously Cetra is going to run a few laps on my Rangers. Not a ton I can do about that at the moment. I'm trying to get some good breath attacks down because I know these Tomb Guard are going to be pretty significant in the longer the game drags on, with my cavalry obviously being a pretty crucial in my my chances in this game. So got a good breath attack down there, killed a few unit models, did a ton of burst damage, and now we're just moving in. Unfortunately, a net going down on my Prince, and probably going to get pretty pincushioned by these Ushabti. But I am going to respond pretty soon with a regrowth to try and get him back up, and it will be an overcast regrowth. Working my way as well down on the flanks here with my Silver Helms, and you see the front lines actually not really going as well as I would like to start with. Obviously, these Rangers are working through these Skeleton Spears pretty well, but yeah, the bowfire in the start really did a number on me. But now that I've closed, I reckon I've got a pretty decent, some pretty decent engagements. Obviously, you see the Prince coming in here, as we said, an overcast regrowth going down, so 2,000 extra hit points there, which is pretty massive considering how much damage I've taken so far. And I do have some Rangers pushing through here. They're not necessary here anymore. You know, my Spearmen can hold up these guys. The White Lions are going to do fine here against the Tomb Guard. I actually have managed to crumble down the Nehakaran Priest with the nets and so forth with these White Lions. So that's a massive pickup for me in the early game. My Silver Helms here are basically just pinning in the Ushabti with Great Bow and stopping them from doing really their shooting damage, which is what they're most significant at. Nehakara Horsemen aren't going to do a ton against Silver Helms. They just don't have good enough armor piercing and whatnot. And I am getting a nice milkshake breath down on the Chosen of the Gods here. Bit of a whiff with that Moon Dragon's breath, but the Ushabti summon has been sent down, and they're going to be engaging pretty soon with my Rangers. But once again, my Mage of Life is just sort of running through the gaps here. I think he's probably going to try and hunt me with these guys, but both my Dragons are really healthy. Cetra's sort of just doing the business over here on my infantry, but I see now a pretty decent opportunity to try and sort of double team him with the Prince and the Moon Dragon. I know there's no nets left, and I know this backline here, even though there's some halberds in here, you know, I've crumbled down the Ushabti pretty well. The Chosen of the Gods are still firing, but they're sort of fighting in against Rangers, so they're a little bit mucked up there. I am going to take off and once again get my charge bonus down. But you see how much damage has been put down here on Cetra. He has also popped he did also have the Nero's Incantation pop. So my Mage of Life has used, I know they've used at least one regrowth at this stage, but I am once again coming under fire from a rather pretty decent barrage from all this shooting. But once again, I noticed a bit of a micro lapse with Cetra here. Earthblood has gone down on both my Dragons just to try and get whatever hit points I can back, and we've managed to snipe out Cetra. So despite there being some very healthy Tomb Guard here, reasonably healthy Tomb Guard here, I've got some White Lions fighting here. They'll clean up these Skeleton Spearmen. I do have 1 or 2 breath attacks left with my Dragons. You know, a healthy unit of Skeleton Spears out here isn't too big of a threat for me. I've got some pretty tattered Rangers over here, but my Cavalry is pulled back because basically there's, you know, 3 units of Tomb Guards here. I don't want them anywhere near here. I can concentrate my Dragon Breath here, and with one nice little Dragon Breath going down there, half on my Dragon, but enough of it does clip the Tomb Guard to force the Tomb Kings into army losses. Another late game breath going down there from the Moon Dragon. We do take the field with the heroes of the Tomb Kings going down. So obviously Cetra did a fair bit of work there on my infantry, and the bow line there from the Skeleton Archers, particularly with the Blessed Legion probably offering their armor sundering, really did work down a number of my infantry units quite well. But the Dragons in this pick, the Dragons are a really good pick against Tomb Kings in general, because their Lord choices do have flaming weakness due to the fact that they are basically mummified corpses at the end of the day, made of bandages and embalming fluid. So the fact that we were able to work down Cetra so quickly, he was pretty healthy when we got those Dragons in on him. Despite the fact that he had done a bit of work on our infantry, we were able to basically just tie up the shooting as much as anything. You know, the Silver Helms don't trade on a kill basis particularly well with Ushabti with Great Bow, but the Illyrian Reaver Archers got in on the Skeleton Archers. They'll just the regular Illyrian Reavers rather. They'll kill them very quickly. Obviously, the Tomb Guard are dangerous against sort of our cavalry and our Dragons, but as with most sort of elite halberd infantry, the biggest factor is their lack of mobility and the fact that they can be sort of maneuvered around relatively easy. And we saw obviously the Nehakara Horsemen. Nehakara Horsemen don't, 1-to-1 don't deal very well with Silver Helms, Empire Knights, that kind of thing with any kind of armor value. They are good at running down infantry, but they were forced to be used as sort of backline protectors of the missile line, which isn't really what they want to be doing. You want to be using spears for that, basically, because they're sort of cheaper and they'll just hold the line a little bit better. But yeah, the early snipe on the Lich Priest was big because another net might have been able to work down my Prince. We got a couple of regrowths off with the Mage of Life. So all in all, I like how this list performed. Obviously, as I said, the flaming damage is big on my single entities, the good mobility, and a solid infantry line that's capable of dealing with the skeleton spears and that like pretty quickly. Obviously, White Lions trading quite well with Tomb Guards too. So that was a fun game that thought I'd cast for you, and we'll be back with more soon. Thanks for checking it out. Take care.